so we can
Okay,
talk
yeah,
about your website.
we started out talking about your experience going into the military and what took you there.
Okay. So
Then we
basically, I had just finished college and ended up in the recruiter's office and was tired of paying for school and not having any money. So I enlisted in the Army.
Right, and you learn transferable skills, a lot of leadership skills there and there, and while you were in the Army, and then you talked about your transition back to civilian life and some of the challenges that you faced coming when you start exiting the Army.
Yeah, definitely. Especially when it comes to the transition process, like I said before, and most people heard my end of the conversation. So, like I was saying before, the transition process is really good, and there's a lot of quality there. It's just that because they cram it in such a short amount of time, and most of us aren't really aware of what we'll need once we do get out, it makes it a little bit more difficult to make sure that we absorb everything we need to.
Right. And then we talked a little bit about how we met. We were talking about the WOTCs and how you're working with the veterans and the different things that we both had in common. And then basically you were telling us about your experience about going to the site and the value that you saw in going to the site.
Yeah, so I want to cover that again since you just asked the question again, but it was really easy because you log in and well, number one, Mitch, I didn't mention this last time, but it's not a paid service. So one of the most irritating things when I got out of the Army is I would apply for jobs and then people would market to me their services. We will get you employed 100%, especially the jobs. Now, I can completely appreciate how I can use my GI Bill to benefit myself, my employer, etc. But when a company comes to me and they're like, we'll give you free housing, free travel, company credit card, company vehicle, and you can use your GI Bill for our training program. And basically, what they're telling me is I can go to work for them, they'll send me through training, it will exhaust my GI Bill, and then I'm guaranteed placement. Or they'll phrase it a little differently if they can't guarantee job placement. And the frustrating thing about that is, number one, I may not be working for that company. And number two, they're going to exhaust my GI Bill. So after I'm done training, I have this trade that I may or may not like, you know, and I may or may not get a job when I'm finished with the training. And now I have no GI Bill, so I can't go to school if I change my mind. Whereas this right here is a free service. They're not trying to put their hands in my pockets. It's really simple to sign up. And what I really loved about it, which I talked about before, is how it links your social media accounts. So now, as an employee, I am bringing money and ease of access to the employer because they don't have to work to figure out who I am, what skills I have, or what I'm all about. And number
Right.
two, that certificate that you can print at the end where you can just show the person, hey, I'm bringing money to the table.
Right. And actually, that certificate, if the employer is not already set up to screen capture and file for these credits, it leads into a portal that the employers can use to do it. So yeah, you're right. This is a totally free service. I'm not asking anybody for money on it. I'm not looking to sell an email list or anything like that. I'm simply using this as an education tool to reach employers and to help folks out there in the community because as more of my neighbors work, as a businessman, that's good for me because then my neighbors can come and do business with me. When the companies are making more money and they're able to do more stuff, the companies are able to come and do business with me. So a rising tide raises all ships. It's in my best interest to educate as many people as I can about this. And that way we all do better, right? We want
Absolutely.
everybody working, not just the folks that maybe went to college for a million years or something like that. There's a lot of other people out there that need to work. And in fact, the job, a lot of people, I've been in part of groups before in the past where they would put down a job. They would, call it things like just over broke or something another, Jack something another, a boss, but or these different things. But actually, the job, the linear income, the active linear income that the job creates, can be and should be the first step in the wealth creation, because you can funnel off that money. You can take a portion of that money that you're making through those active income streams and position yourself with passive income streams, like you're doing with your beard, a vet's beard, and your beard products and things like that. So it's a very powerful wealth creation strategy. There's no need to put down the job. Everybody needs a job. I've worked plenty of jobs, and I was, I guess, blessed enough where I was, or lucky enough to somebody pointed out, to start putting it over into this residual. I started learning about residual income, and so I haven't had that many public jobs over my lifetime. I've been self-employed. In fact, one of my friends pointed out the other day, he looked up a statistic that I've been a licensed insurance agent here in the state of North Carolina and other states too for, I guess it's about 16 years, and only about 20% of folks that enter that field, even if they have a W-2, partial salary, which I've always been commission only in my insurance work, only about 20% make it 4 years, and I've been doing it for 16 years. So a lot of it is just those basic wealth building blocks that I've been able to use and create a passive income for myself. So, I just want to say that a lot of organizations, they put down the job. Jobs are not bad. Bosses are not bad. It's just you got to get one that fits you. Yeah. And I think that that's one of the things that this resume booster actually puts out there. When it makes it easier for people, because this is not a test. We've already tested the program before we launched it out, and it gets 4 times the interview request when you use the resume booster. In fact, I went ahead and bought a domain name called www.freeresumebooster.com just to make it easier to remember. Sometimes you think about Spark, or what was that name of that Spark my resume? What was that? So it's really easy to remember, freeresumebooster.com. And, go out there, make your transition out of the military, make your transition from, maybe you have a job that maybe doesn't pay you what you want, so you want a better paying job. Maybe the job that you have now, maybe it does pay you enough, but you're working third shift and it's not a good fit with your family, and you want a better hours on your job. There's a lot of different reasons why people want a job. Some people, and I always say it's easier to get a job if you have a job. That's from my mother. My mother told me that one. So kudos to you, Mom. Give you a shout out for Mom. But and I'll tell you the statistics that I'm seeing on my polls is incredible. I'm seeing people, it's 87% of people after a month are still looking for a job. And when I move that up to 3 months, it drops to 77% of people are still looking for a job. And then when you get to the 6-month mark, it drops to about 50%. 50% of people are still looking for a job after 6 months. And I just got my 9-month one in today, and it did drop to about 30%, but 30% of people looking for jobs, that's still a lot of people looking for jobs. And in the state of North Carolina, I know that as of January 1st of 2019, the minimum wage goes to $12 an hour, at least across the state. I've heard $15 an hour in Greensboro. I'm not sure if that's 100% accurate. I'm still trying to get confirmation on that. Yeah. But just at the $12 an hour, if a job search takes, 3 months, 6 months, you're talking about a minimum of, $6,000 that you would have gained minimum. That's just at a minimum wage job. If you're making more money than that, then you're losing a lot of money if you're trying to do a job search using old methods.
Right.
Does that make sense? I mean, this is the 21st century, and we have people still trying to apply for jobs using 20th century methods, and they can't figure out why they can't get their job. Yeah. It's a new way of doing things. It's a new world. In fact, there's jobs that exist today that didn't even exist 5-6 years ago. I read an article where one person got hired as the chief storyteller in the company because they knew the power of telling stories and explaining things, and they hired a chief, like the vice president of storytelling.
Nice.
So there's all kinds of jobs out there that didn't even exist 5-6 years ago. It just makes sense that there's a newer way, a more efficient way to apply for a job, right?
Right. So
all right. So just sort of wrapping this up here. We've talked about, the advantages of the site, the cool things that the site does for you. Do you have anything else for them, Ryan? I know that you do your T-shirt business. Tell there's some people out here. There's some people here that already have. Yeah, I see it. Some people. Oh, this is Is it a new one?
Yeah, this is the one I did for Toya.
Okay. Yeah, boyfriend facts. Okay, cool. I might need to go over there and get one of those for my lady friend.
I had the one that says in my picture that says bearded and beautifully better. I sent that to a friend in Budapest, and he took a picture with it on, which was even funnier because he doesn't have a beard. But I did that design for Toya, and then I was going to have somebody do some pictures with it and market it. But I really, that's one of those things I just do because it's smart. If you can design T-shirts, then because I don't have to keep any inventory, I don't have to spend any money up front. So that's just kind of a thing I do for the fun of it.
I thought it was cool too. I followed your directions and I applied to Amazon. I'm waiting. I probably should hear back probably this coming week. I'm hoping, where I can upload my design and get started with that. So it's really cool when you network with people and you learn from each other. And so we can, you're probably a little bit further. You've been out 3.5 years out of the Army, so you're a little bit further on this journey. But a lot of your Army brothers and even the other parts of the different militaries, they're coming out and they're going to be going through this process. Yeah. So we want to try to make it as easy as we can for them, and use experience from before that, and we share that out. And that's just another way to clears the path. It clears the path for those that are coming behind you. Yeah. And so a lot of the folks may already have a job, and they want to start moving some of that active income over to passive income with things like shirt designs. That's another example of a passive income. Once you design that shirt, you put it up there, it's already designed. It sits there and just sells, right? You don't have to keep redesigning the same shirt.
Right.
That's another passive income stream. I love it. Residual incomes, Elvis Presley, they say, some people don't believe he died, but, back in the day, he passed away, and he probably made more money last year than me and you both put together. So that residual income is a very powerful tool, right?
Absolutely.
So I guess we'll sign off for today. If anybody has any questions, you can send. I have my email address is mitch@sparkmyrezumenow.com. You can reach out to me there with any kind of questions. Everything is always confidential. I don't sell email lists or anything like that. But if you are involved in a job search and you're stuck, I want to hear from you because I may have an idea that would help you move on. And Ryan, as we say goodbye, okay, freeresumebooster.com. Cool, Ryan. I like how you pop that stuff up there. And go to EventSphere too. You can contact with Ryan. Ryan is really smart on these computers, and he actually was able to show me how to do this to save me a drive all the way to Raleigh today in the heat. So he's a pretty smart guy. I would encourage you to reach out to him, buy his T-shirts, buy his beard products, and just to ask him, say, hey, man, you got out before I got out. What can you do to tell me to help me? Ryan's a good guy. Ryan will help you.
I appreciate that, Mitch. I'll next time we do this, I'll make sure to check the audio before we get started so we don't sound so much. But
it's all learning experience, man. It's all learning experience, and really, I found very few things in life that go as planned.
Right.
So the ability to actually learn and grow while you're going through the process. I mean, that's those leadership skills coming back into play that you learned and while you're in the Army.
Absolutely.
Remain calm and fix the situation. And that's what we're doing over at Spark My Resume now, man. We are getting this, trying to get people back to work, because I tell you, I would hate to think that I would be in a position with no passive income and I can't get an interview. I mean, I'm seeing on my polls that over half of the people, I think it was 54% of the people in, put the now on the Spark My Resume now. It's got to be now, man. We don't want to spark it later. SparkMyResumeNow.com. There you go. Yeah, so we, when you start talking about applying, these people are applying in the old method, and they're not getting any response. It's like 54% no response. They might as well be taking their resumes and throw them in the fireplace and at least get warm off of them.
I think if you covered all your questions, I think the main thing you keep reminding me of when you're talking about using the old method, well, there's a couple of things. And number one, right before I got out of the Army, I applied for a job. And I did what I thought you were supposed to do, which was correct. You go to the website, you apply. I waited a few days, maybe a week. I went in, said, I'm here to inquire about an interview. They were like, apply online. I was like, no problem, already did. They were like, what's your name? Went and pulled it up, looked at it. All right, he can stand, he can talk, he can walk, he can breathe. Come back such and such a day at such and such a time, and we'll hold an interview. It was a restaurant, so it's not like a high-end job. I was just looking for a little extra income. The point I'm getting to here is, while I was in there to inquire about an interview because I had already filled out the application, another kid, roughly about the same age, came in, dressed sharp, ready for an interview as well, came in to ask if they were hiring. Well, number one, I think you already talked about this, Mitch. Everybody's hiring. And number two, if you don't prepare yourself properly, which is filling out that application ahead of time, then all that's going to happen when you walk in is what they tried to do with me when I walked in and said, I'm here for an interview. No problem. Just go to this website and fill out the application. So it's almost like you're not really setting yourself up for failure, but just making sure that you take the steps in the right order, and then making sure that you visit the website, look up the company, you're prepared for it, keep your resume one page, don't hand them a storybook, and then making sure your profile, specifically LinkedIn, but any social media that you have up, is up to date, looks like it's actually you, and they can see pictures of your face and stuff like that.
That's right. Yeah. It's really a simple process. I had a math teacher, I remember in the 8th grade, we were sitting there, we were learning, I don't know, algebra or something, and everybody was asking, like, why? She said, look, for right now, just accept that it is and do. And that's kind of where we're at with this, is the old methods aren't working anymore. And you can either fight it, people can either fight it and keep looking for a job. But I'll tell you this, from my experience of what I've been watching going through this process, if a person goes, I would say, more than 48 hours without a job, they're starting to stigmatize themselves. So can you imagine once you start getting up to a month, 3 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years, people are going to start saying, like, why aren't they hiring her? Why aren't they hiring her?
Right.
So it just makes sense that there's anything that can speed up the process. And I truly believe that this is. I'm getting messages as far away as California that people are loving the product. It's helping. It's getting 4 times the interview requests because it just makes it easier on the HR people. I know that, and you're right, all companies are always hiring good people. So I would encourage people not to so much go by the help wanted sign in the window or an ad or something like that. Just go ahead and figure out where you want to work. Where's a company that's close to you that you respect and you believe you'll make good money over there? That's the company you want to go to. You don't want to. That way, you're not fighting a million other people trying to get a job. You go there with your tax credit. You go there with your information, and you're like, hey, I can bring value to the company. I'm here to work. I'm here to bring value to the company. Here's my resume, and by the way, it might have a $9,600 check attached to it called a tax credit. So it does definitely get your attention. You're right. It's all about preparation. What is it? Opportunity and preparation meet, and that's when success occurs. I believe it's the old saying.
Yeah.
So thanks for the interview today, Ryan. It's been great. I hope that people will take advantage of all the information that they've gathered here today. It's all free, and in fact, I looked at your class today. If you aren't familiar with the Amazon business that Ryan is working on, he's got an awesome class, and he's running on special right now for $5. You can go in there. I saw it as like $5. You can get his class on how to create this residual income. I think it's awesome, man.
Yeah. It's on sale right now for $10, but they gotta get a code from me. So it's in most of my emails on my website and YouTube. But it's really just the first step, because my company runs a lot of online retail arbitrage, private label, and wholesale. So it's in the grand scheme of things, I do Amazon, eBay, Walmart, Newegg, and I'm working to expand those platforms and working towards.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I've seen conversations about what you're doing in the past, and I think you probably got the best system. I've never seen a system as comprehensive and turnkey as the one that you're using. So congratulations on that. It looks like a wonderful program.
Thank you. Absolutely. And I just want to help people, so that class is the first one in a series, and it just walks you through the steps where I started. So given the fact that I've already made the mistakes and incorporated the solutions for those mistakes into these courses, someone should see more success than I did on the front end there. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah, I think it's cool. I'm gonna start doing some of the T-shirt designs, and I'm just waiting for my approval. So anyway, everybody go to the sites. It's good information. And Ron, I think we've been talking almost an hour. Do you have anything else for the folks?
That's pretty much it, man. That website right there. Personally, I believe that even if you're not looking for a job, you should still have your resume out. I believe on LinkedIn a while back I saw where Elon Musk has a one-page resume done up. I mean, it's Elon Musk. Like, why does he need a resume? So if he's got one, I should have one. Go to the website. I've already been there. Fill it out. It's not going to hurt anything. Worst case scenario, you're making $100,000 a year. Somebody calls you and says, "I want to pay you $150."
Right. Yeah. Wow. Elon Musk has a resume. Yeah, I believe everybody needs a resume if that guy has a resume, right? So, good stuff, man. Well, I'm gonna get out of here and I'm gonna go find me some lunch. I like to do these at lunchtime because I think a lot of people are working. They can plug in live on their lunchtime. Now out in California, they're drinking coffee. They're watching us drinking coffee. But
Absolutely.
I tried to make it during lunchtime. But the downside is, I like my lunchtime too. So I'm gonna go try to find me some lunchtime. And you have a great day, man. And we'll get together. We'll do some more game planning on this. Some good stuff here.
Sounds good, Mitch. I really appreciate the opportunity, man.
Yep. All right. You have a good one, Ryan.
All right, you too, man.